हेलो दोस्तों, इस वीडियो में हम देखने जा रहे हैं सईद अहमद खान एंड द अलीगढ़ स्कूल। यह है बिपिन चंद्रा मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री एनसीईआरटी का। सईद अहमद खान एंड द अलीगढ़ स्कूल मूवमेंट फॉर रिलीजियस रिफॉर्म वेयर लेट इन emerging among the Muslims. The Muslims upper classes had tended to avoid contact with Western education and culture, and it was mainly after the revolt of 1857 that modern ideas of religious reform began to appear. A beginning in this direction was made when the Mohammedan Literary Society was founded at Calcutta in 1863. कोलकाता में 1863 में मोहम्मदन लिटरेरी सोसाइटी का स्थापना हुआ था. This society promoted discussion of religious, social and political questions in the light of modern ideas and encouraged upper and middle class Muslims to take to Western education. The most important reformer among the Muslims was Sayyid Ahmad Khan. The most important Muslim reformer was Sayyid Ahmad Khan. He was tremendously impressed by modern scientific thought and worked all his life to reconcile it with Islam. This he did first of all by declaring that the Quran alone was the authoritative work for Islam and all other Islamic writings were secondary. Even the Quran he interpreted in the light of contemporary rationalism and science. In his view, any interpretation of the Quran that conflicted with human reason, science or nature was in reality a misinterpretation. In the view of Sayyid Ahmad Khan, interpretation of the Quran that conflicted with human reason, science or nature was in reality a misinterpretation. All his life he struggled against blind obedience to tradition, dependence on custom, ignorance and irrationalism. He urged the people to develop a critical approach and freedom of thought. So long as freedom of thought is not developed, there can be no civilized life, he declared. He also warned against fanaticism, narrow-mindedness and exclusiveness and urged students and others to be broad-minded and tolerant. A closed mind, he said, was the hallmark of social and intellectual backwardness. A closed mind was the hallmark of social and intellectual backwardness. Praising the study of world classics, he remarked, the students will learn to appreciate the temper with which great minds approach the consideration of great questions. We will discover that truth is many-sided, that it is not identical or merely contextive with individual opinion, and that world is a good deal wider than his own sect, society or class. Sayyid Ahmad Khan believed that the religious and social life of the Muslims could be improved only by imbibing modern Western scientific knowledge and culture. Therefore, promotion of modern education remained his first task throughout his life. As an official, he founded schools in many towns and had many Western books translated into Urdu. In 1875, he founded at Aligarh the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, MAO, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, founded at Aligarh in the year 1875 by Sayyid Ahmad Khan. Remember that point. This Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College was a center for spreading Western science and culture. Later, this college grew into the Aligarh Muslim University. Sayyid Ahmad Khan was a great believer in a religious toleration. He believed that all religion had a certain underlying unity, which could be called practical morality. Believing that a person's religion was his or her private affair, he roundly condemned any sign of religious bigotry in a personal relations. He was also opposed to communal fiction, appealing to Hindus and Muslims to unite, he said in 1883. Now both of us live on the air of India, drank the holy waters of the Ganga and Jamuna. We both feed upon the products of the Indian soil. We are together in life and death. Living in India, both of us have changed our blood. The color of our bodies has become the same. Our features have become similar. The Muslims have adopted numerous Hindu customs. The Hindus have accepted many Muslim traits of conduct. We become so fused that we developed the new language of Urdu, which was neither our language nor that of the Hindus. Therefore, if we accept that part of our lives which belongs to God, then undoubtedly, in consideration of the fact that we both belong to the same country, we are a nation, and the progress and welfare of the country and both of us depend on our unity, mutual sympathy and love, while our mutual disagreement, obstinacy and opposition and ill feelings are sure to destroy us. Moreover, Hindus, Parsis and Christians had freely contributed to the funds of his college, whose doors were also open to all Indians. For example, in 1898 there were 64 Hindu and 285 Muslim students in the college. Out of the 7 Indian teachers, 2 were Hindus, one of them being professor of Sanskrit. However, towards the end of his life, began to talk of Hindu domination to prevent his followers from joining the rising national movement. This was unfortunate, though basically he was not a communalist. He only wanted the backwardness of the Muslim middle and upper classes to go. His politics were the result of his firm belief that immediate political progress was not possible because the British government could not be easily dislodged. On the other hand, any hostility by the officials might prove dangerous to the educational efforts which he saw as the need of the hour. He believed that only when Indians had become as modern in their thinking and actions as the English were could they hope to successfully challenge foreign rule. He therefore advised all India, and particularly the educationally backward Muslims, to remain aloof from politics for some time to come. The time for politics, he said, had not yet come. In fact, he had become so committed to his college and the cause of education that he was willing to sacrifice all other interests to them. Consequently, to prevent the orthodox Muslims from opposing his college, he virtually gave up his agitation in favor of religious reform. For the same reason, he would not do anything to offend the government, and on the other hand, he encouraged communalism and separatism. This was of course a serious political error, which was to have harmful consequences. In later years, moreover, some of his followers deviated from his broad-mindedness and tended later to glorify Islam and its past while criticizing other religions. Sayyid Ahmad's reformist zeal also embraced the social sphere. He urged Muslims to give up medieval customs and way of thought and behavior. In particular, he wrote in favor of raising the women's status in society. He advocated removal of purdah and spread of education among women. He also condemned the customs of polygamy and easy divorce. Sayyid Ahmad Khan was helped by a band of loyal followers who are collectively described as the Aligarh school. Chirag Ali, the Urdu poet of Altaf Hussain Ali, Nazir Ahmad and Maulana Shibli Nomani were some of the other distinguished leaders of the Aligarh school. Muhammad Iqbal, one of the greatest poets of modern India, Muhammad Iqbal also profoundly influenced though his poetry the philosophical and religious outlook of the younger generation of Muslims as well as of Hindus. Like Swami Vivekananda, he emphasized the need for constant change and ceaseless activity and condemned resignation, contemplation and quiet contentment. He urged the adoption of a dynamic outlook that would help change the world. He was basically a humanist. In fact, he raised human action to the status of a prime virtue. Men should not submit to natural powers that be, he said, but should control this world through constant activity. Nothing was more sinful in his eyes than the passive acceptance of things as they were, condemning ritualism, asceticism, and otherworldly attitude. He urged men to work for and achieve happiness in this world of the living. In his earlier poetry, he extolled patriotism, though later he encouraged Muslim separatism.